Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Visi. If you're new here, make yourself comfortable. We're here for beauty, lifestyle, fashion, you know, and anything that is interesting to talk about. But as you've seen from the title, we're going to be looking at choosing your foundation. What are the things you need to go through to choose your foundation? One of the most asked questions that I get from my friends and then from my audience is about foundation. Visi, what's the best foundation that someone can use? And I'm just here to say there is no one size fits all. So much as something works for me as Visi, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And that is why I'm here to help you choose the best foundation for you and your skin needs. Yeah, but before we proceed, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead, hit the subscription button, and let's get right into it. So we'll start off by saying the first thing that is very dear and very close to the kind of content that I create, and we all know this content: skin care. Before you even start thinking of foundation, let's first talk about skincare, because that is where everything starts from. So what is the point of you having a good foundation, expensive or drugstore, but then your skin is not healthy? And when I talk about healthy skin, I do not mean a smooth, no pimple, nothing skin. I mean healthy, hydrated, you know, like you can feel that, you know, this skin is healthy. You can see that the skin is healthy, and that's one of the first things that I want to talk about. So before you actually go into looking for foundation, first take care of your skin. And I think I've linked my skincare routine right somewhere here. Okay, so now that we've covered the skincare part of it, you've gotten a daily routine that you're consistent with, targeting areas that you want to improve on your skin. Let's look at what your skin type is. Now, when I ask for your skin type, I mean, I'm not asking, but you know what I mean. When I talk about your skin type, I'm meaning, do you have an oily skin? Do you have a dry skin? Do you have a normal skin? Or do you have a combination of? What combination do you have? You have to know your skin type. And usually for me, I actually have a combination, because I know I get oily mostly around my T-zone. The T-zone is here, like you see this is a T, and that is where I usually get oily. Like, that's the first part. And then I tend to get so dry in my other areas. So that is my skin type, a combination skin, dry and oily, like oily on the T-zones and dry on the other side. So now that you know your skin type, what about what your skin actually needs? Do you feel like your skin is so dehydrated that you need a really moisturizing foundation? You need to consider all these things. Or is your skin so sensitive to everything, you still want to apply foundation, but you know very well that it is sensitive, like the skin is sensitive? You need to know all these before you actually get your foundation type. And I'll be listing these foundations towards the end, like what works for what and what works for what. So for me personally, what I do if I'm looking for foundation, I usually tend to go for companies that are usually skin-based companies. I mean, skincare in one. Like, honestly, like, I'll give you an example. I've been using Estee Lauder for the longest of time, and before that I was using Lancome, because I know these companies are investing so much research in the skincare solutions that they are coming up with. And also another thing that's very important and dear to me is the fact that those two companies, and I'm not saying that these are the companies that you're supposed to buy your foundation from, but I know that Estee Lauder and Lancome really have mastered the art of creating skincare, I mean makeup for dark skinned women, and I mean foundation. Like, their shades, I find that they were amongst the first companies that created like these dark skin shades for dark skinned women like me. So I know that they have my best interests at heart, and that is a personal opinion, and you shouldn't take it like if you've had any different opinion to what I have. but that is what I tend to go for. Most of my skincare is actually from Lancome. I use mini Lancome products and they work perfect for me. So choosing a foundation from a company that's already into the skincare game, that's perfect for me. Moving on, the next step would be for you to know your undertone. Finding out your undertone is really, really important. Some people have a cool undertone, some people have a warm undertone, and some people are just neutral. So if you have like, if your neck is usually like golden, peachy and stuff, you tend to have a warm undertone. And if you have like a reddish, pinkish kind of thing, you may have like a pink undertone and stuff. And if you don't have like anything that's really stands out, you may be looking at having a neutral undertone. So you need to have these, and you need to know like what foundation would suit that kind of undertone. So determining what undertone you need will help you match your face to your neck, because you don't want to have like a bright foundation that really doesn't match your neck. You can see like with my foundation that I'm wearing currently, you can see that everything is blending smoothly like into my skin tone, and that's because I tend to go and choose what I have a warm undertone, so that is really important to me, to choose the best foundation with my undertone. And okay, so moving on, what about the formulas that you're looking for? Are you looking, do you want a liquid foundation? Some people prefer liquid foundations, some people prefer cream foundations, and then some people prefer powdered foundations. Now here's the thing, people who usually have oily skin tend to go for powdered foundations or cream foundations, like, because that tends down to bring down the amount of oil they're going to like produce during the day, and that works for them. But personally, if your skin is a bit dehydrated, then you need to actually choose a liquid foundation, period. I'm not a fan of the cream foundations, but if that works for you, that works for you. I highly recommend going though for the liquid foundation. Next, you have to determine what are your coverage needs. Do you need a full coverage foundation, or do you need a light coverage foundation, or do you need a medium coverage? Now, people who tend to go for the full coverage foundation is like when you have like blemishes to cover up, or just a preference, because for me personally, I go for full coverage because it's a preference, right? But I also have like medium coverage foundations that I use and that I have, but I tend to go for the full coverage to, you know, balance it out. It also makes the face look really, it all comes together. So what about the medium coverage? Like people who like light makeup, people don't want to go all in, or still want that skin finish and that like their natural skin to actually come through even with a foundation. They tend to go for light coverage foundations or the medium coverage foundation. So what is your skin type? What is your preference? Now that we're able to order foundation online using shade finders, like if the company has a shade finder, I would highly recommend that you use the shade finder. I know like the one for Estee Lauder looks like this. I'm going to just link it somewhere or just insert it somewhere here. And then I know Sephora also has now like a match finder. Like if you're looking for a foundation shade that you want, you just go to their website, they have that ready for you. So like different companies have different shade finders, and I highly recommend that you utilize those so that you get that. Then importantly, it's good to get a sample before you get the full product. Except like if you've used this before, you haven't reacted or anything. Like if you've used this before, you haven't reacted or anything, that would also be good. But I would highly recommend, if you walk into a store, if you can walk into a store, or if you can order a sample to be delivered to you, I highly recommend that. Sample it out first on your arm before you get to your face, so that you can actually see what you're getting yourself into, because foundation is actually a long time commitment. Honestly, I rarely change foundations. Like I've only changed foundations probably like 3 times my entire life, and usually I go back to that same foundation, because when I become loyal, I'm loyal. Wait, I mean, if it works, it works. And then lastly, so you've gotten the perfect foundation for you. The method of application that you're going to use to apply this foundation will also make such a big difference. Like you can have the same foundation with someone, and your foundation will not come out as good as their foundation base looks like. Like I've already said, skincare is good, probably having a good primer is also good, but the foundation itself, the way you apply it will matter. Like if you're using a wrong brush, it's going to come out bad. If you're using something that you're not supposed to, then it's going to come out bad. So I use a foundation brush when I'm looking for when I want like a full coverage kind of setting, and also if I have so much product to deal with. But if I'm going into like a medium coverage, I can actually use my foundation, my fingers, and I think I use that with Charlotte Tilbury and the Estee Lauder medium coverage. Like if something is medium coverage, I just go in and tap with my fingers and then it's done. But then also if I want like a very moisturizing look, I tend to wet my beauty blender and then tap that in, and that creates an illusion of a moisturized skin, if that makes sense. So now we move on to the best foundations that I think are legit one of the best foundations you can ever buy. So I'll start off with my best foundation and what I'm wearing actually right now. I just want you to see the glow that's coming in. No, I'm using natural light. I'm not using any ring lights or anything at the moment, just natural light. But I just want you to see how flawless that looks, and it's already giving me a glow from within. And this is the Double Wear shade from Estee Lauder, and this is their Stay in Place makeup. So with this foundation, one thing that I've learned is basically it's a 24-hour stay. Like it stays 24 hours, guys. I can make like it's 24 hours. I have my makeup put on in the morning, and in the evening I'm still like glowing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is beyond. And then this foundation is also like transfer proof, like transferring to clothes and everything. Like of course if you mix your face with other products, then chances are high you may have some residue like transfer to your clothes. But with this foundation, sometimes I wear it alone, and it's perfect for me when I don't want to stain my white clothes and everything. So this foundation, now we're talking. Now we are talking. This is really nice if you have a combination skin. Like I have combination skin, like I've already told you. This is one of the best foundations you can get. And remember, they are basically a skincare company. They major in skincare, so you know that what they're feeding you is actually good for your skin, and also for dark skin women. So I think that's a bonus. I think that's a plus. And then let's move on to the next thing. So they do have so this is full coverage, but then this one is actually more of a medium coverage, and it's their Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue moisturizing makeup. They sent this to me, but this has SPF. That is actually very key to have your foundation have SPF. That's very key. This foundation gave me a skin-like finish. It was dewy, it was moisturizing, like it was hydrating. I remember using it. I know this shade is a bit darker for me, so I tend to use it after the winter, but I use it mainly to like in my contoured areas, like to bring some definition to my face. But this is really nice. So I'm going to link all these products that I'm talking about in the description section below, and if you want to check them out, why not? I'm going to share with you this foundation. Of course, like before coming to this foundation, I would like to point out that my next foundation would be Lancome Teint Idole. The picture, I'm going to put the picture right here. And I used this foundation for the longest of time before moving on to Estee Lauder. And if it's possible for me to switch between the two, I would. But right now I'm very comfortable with Estee Lauder. I love it, I love it, I love it. But Lancome, I also loved it as much. And remember, they also like, they major in skincare. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. And then number 3 on the list for me is this Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. Now, I got this like 2 weeks back from Sephora, and I'm going to tell you something, guys. The moment the lady said try this on, I just tried it on, and I'm like, are you sure I have put on foundation? Because it was so flawless, so nice. Like it made my skin immediately. I just saw that, don't worry about it, just give it to me. Like I found my shade. It was perfect. It wasn't even that hard to find my shade. And you know, when you're a dark skinned woman, it's always difficult to find like a shade that's not going to either make you too light or too dark. So I was just like, give it to me, give it to me. Anyway, this is number 3 Beautiful Skin, and it is really nice. I don't even know if, let me just show you something. So I'm just going to put a little of it. I've put some. I don't know if you can see, but I just want you to see how blending. You will not see it because you will try to see it, but you won't see it. Like, it gives you a velvety finish. Like, I don't even know how to explain this foundation, but I think this is going to be what I'm going to be wearing in the summer, guys. This is so nice. Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. And if you're that person who doesn't want to wear too much makeup, this is medium weight. Like, it's not medium, it's like medium coverage, so your skin will still come through, like, it will still pop, guys. It will still pop. Oh my. Number 4 on my foundation list is Giorgio Armani Beauty Luminous Silk Foundation. Now, the reviews about this, they don't lie, and I'm telling you, this is like the best foundation you can ever get if you have the money for it. If you have the money, just go buy that foundation. It's really that nice. And this is the foundation that most celebrity makeup artists use for the celebrities when they're going on red carpets. So all those pictures, all those flashes, like, they don't give flashback, right? And then number 5 on my list, it's Fenty Beauty. Now, Fenty Beauty, one thing I like about it is the shade range. Like, you can never go wrong with Fenty Beauty. You will always find something for you, like something made for you. So that's one thing I like about that. And then also I find that it is full coverage. Usually when I'm going for my looks, I tend, like, if I'm going for a bit that's like in your face, like, it's still like subtle but still in your face, like I've brought pressure. Sorry, but I like full coverage foundation, and I find that Fenty Beauty is actually one of those foundations that will give you, like, it's easily blendable. You can, like, what I mean by easily blendable for those that are new to makeup is when you blend it even with other products, it sets in very well. It doesn't cake up. So that is really a key thing for getting the best foundation. So those are my top 5 foundations that I highly recommend. There are of course other foundations that could easily work for you. There's no one size fits all, so if something works best for you, then do that. Go for what you feel like your skin needs, feed your skin anything, but remember, above all, take care of your skin. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not subscribed and if you've watched all the way to here, please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. All those things are highly appreciated. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and see you next time.